Greetings, folks. Eulair here. Today's replay features myself in a trusty old standby of mine, my Tier 6 German light cruiser, the Obligatorily Exploding Nürnberg. This is a Tier 6 domination match on Ring. There are no aircraft carriers, and there are lots and lots of cruisers. Now, my build in the Nürnberg, I think, is the same as what I've had for the last replay. I take a number of skills to improve survivability, like Last Stand, obviously concealment, preventative maintenance, and so on. But as of late on my German cruisers, I've also started to pick up the vigilance skill, as well as Jack of all trades. And I have found vigilance in particular has been quite useful in a number of circumstances to support detecting torpedoes earlier, especially when I've got my German hydro running. That really helps not only me, but my allies nearby. And in fact, on that point, my plan is to leverage the German unique commander Franz von Jutland to be the new commander on my Nuremberg. Once I get him up to 19 points, I'm almost there. But for now, the Nuremberg is being commanded by this other 19-point commander that I've had on her for a long, long time. Now, this match is going to have an exceptionally good example of the importance of spotting in a game and how crucial spotting is to be able to play and to succeed in a match. There will be a critical junction in the battle where spotting will be paramount, and you will know that situation when it happens. I will call it out, but it will, like I said, be pretty evident or quite evident when it does happen. Now, I've come over here to the Bravo cap to support taking that cap. There are actually relatively few battleships, and so far the only ones that we've seen are on the north flank over by Alpha. So I'm trying to get down these cruisers and destroyers that are milling around in Bravo. Got a nice flat broadside on this Hawkins. I'm going to get a couple of citadels there. I don't remember if I get any more citadels here. Yes, I do. 3 more. And I finish off that cruiser. We do have at least one destroyer on the opposing team that's milling around the cap. In fact, we actually have 2. So obviously I have hydro running here, moved into the cap. The cap is contested, so we know there is the destroyer in the smoke screen that's ahead of me. And there is the destroyer. He's being picked up by my hydro. And again, between my hydro and the vigilance, I will get more than adequate warning on any torpedoes he sends, but he's pretty well doomed at this point. And there are the torpedoes, and I take down the destroyer. So doing pretty well. Got a couple of kills, and we're going to get this cap. Now, this is a ship that I'm firing on now, which is the Molotov. That to me can be quite dangerous. The Molotov has 180 millimeter shells, and if he puts AP into my side, he can wreck me pretty quickly. Now, I am trying to put AP into his side, since the Molotov has a pretty exposed citadel, and unfortunately I'm not landing any citadels. I'm getting a lot of overpens, but I am trying to finish them off. The other risk that we have right now is that we have a Nuremberg that is on the north side of the cap, and our Furutaka is quite exposed here. I had previously called out to him to sort of back off so that he doesn't put himself in a crossfire between the Nuremberg and there's another cruiser that's in Bravo. I forgot which one that is, as well as the other destroyer that's been milling around in the cap. Now, the majority of our team is over here on the southeast side of the map. So what we should be trying to do here is not only get this cap, but then push through up toward Bravo, which is exactly what is going to happen, and ideally not split up, so that we can kind of work as a force, because our west flank is being overwhelmed by the opposing team's strong flank. And if we are to break up here and sort of divide ourselves, it is we lose some of the benefit we have being on this flank. There is the Minakaze that was floating around the Bravo cap here, and he's actually going to be quite elusive for much more of the battle. Also have the Devonshire, which is the new tier 6 British light cruiser, or heavy cruiser, excuse me, around in the Bravo cap. So looking to try to get him off the map as well. We do lose sight on the Minakaze. And again, we are losing our west flank as our Omaha has gone down, and it's just the Leander, and he's going to rightfully peel away here. I've been using AP with pretty disappointing results, to be honest with you. These British heavy cruisers have pretty vulnerable citadels at this tier, and I was not getting, like with the Hawkins, that where I got some very good citadel hits, I was not getting the same benefit of on this Devonshire, but we are going to finish him off here pretty quickly, and there he goes. So we have a one-ship advantage. Each team is even on cap, so we have a point lead. And so things at this point were looking pretty good. Our Leander's making a very good choice to peel away. Now, I'm being targeted here. I made the assumption that it was the Minakaze that was last seen in Bravo that was targeting me, but we're going to see some AP shells come in from one of the battleships is going to come in over me, and I'm going to take an overpen, I think, or something. But it's going to be a little bit... Here comes those shells. I do take one overpen, so that was kind of lucky. And I'll be fairly fortunate in much of this battle, but there will be a point where I'm going to take a bad salvo, and again, you're going to see when that happens. Now, we are lit up again by the Minakaze that's out in front of us. But we're going to have to move forward here because we have a Mutsuki that's in front. He can help with spotting. I'm looking to get some flanking fire on... Here comes some torpedoes from the Minakaze. I'm looking to try to get some flanking fire on the opposing ships as I make my turn a little tad late here. Avoid the torpedoes. And try to get the Trento down. Here is the Minakaze. So we need to immediately change our focus to him. As soon as he's spotted, we need to try to get him down. So obviously now the big threat for the Furitaka and me is this full health Arizona. We do lose sight, or we are losing intermittent sight on the Minakaze. And with our Mutsuki likely in concealment and our Furitaka and very, very low health, my decision here is I need to turn around. I've lost the support of, well, in fact, we've lost both of our battleships now, unfortunately, and that goes back to my point that we split up when we should not have. But I now need to peel away because the Arizona is going to start targeting me. But I am being targeted by two. I know one of them is the Arizona, and he is going to fire a number of salvos on me during this game. And I'm going to be pretty lucky like that shot right there. The Minakaze shows back up. I immediately change my focus to him because really want to get the destroyer off the flank. There's Confederate on so far. So I've been doing okay, but right now the ship counts are even. The opposition is almost secured Charlie. So they will have 3 caps to our 2, and they will start pulling out from a points perspective here. In fact, right now they are starting to pull ahead. So I've peeled away, but again, my problem is that I have an Arizona behind me, and now I have this Bayern. So the opposition has both of their, or 2 of their battleships still up, and I could easily put myself in a situation where either one of them could just straight up delete me. So I'm peeling away from both of them. I do see the broadside Alba. This player does very well for his team during this match, but he is broadside. I'm going to get some AP shots on him. Again, no, he turns away just at the right time. He avoids the previous salvo entirely. I do get a few shells on him, I think, at some point, but he's aware that he's being targeted, and I'm firing AP at him, so he pulls away. I turn back to the Bayern because the Bayern is burning pretty well, and he's going down. He's quite low in health, so it would be useful to get him down. Now, I did fire AP here. The German cruiser AP into the superstructure and upper belt of battleships can be very effective, but I did find that these salvos were not getting the results I wanted to do. So I do switch back to HE here, especially now that he is angling in. Our Mutsuki does take down the Minakaze that was over at Bravo, but the problem is that our Mutsuki is now detected. because he did fire, he is detected by the Arizona, and the Arizona is going to change his focus to the Mutsuki. In fact, there goes the Mutsuki. In fact, one thing that I was quite surprised by at this point, that our Furitaka, who had been quite low health a few minutes ago when I had peeled away from the Bravo cap, he is still alive. And there, I think our cruiser, the Grouch Bay, does get a torpedo on the Bayern and finishes off the Bayern. So we have a one-ship advantage. We have a minuscule point lead, but that's going to evaporate here very quickly because, again, the opponents hold 3 caps to our 1. But this is still a winnable match for us. So I'm going to change my focus to the Nicholas. And then I'm going to turn back around to try to help get, well, not only take down the 2 ships over there, but really we need to defend the 1 cap that we do have. Our Furitaka does move into the Bravo cap. I'm not sure why he's not detected at that distance. Obviously, he's got the terrain between himself and the Arizona right now, but he's been surviving a remarkably long time being that close to the Arizona. One other comment I would make here is that our Mutsuki, which was up at the Bravo cap, he almost took that cap. We do lose our Grouch Bay, so now it's 3-on-3. But he sailed out of the cap, literally, it must have been seconds before he was going to capture it, and he never took that cap. And so we have fallen more steeply behind than ideally I would have liked to have seen. I'm going to now be working the Alba, and once I can get close enough, I've got the hydro running here because the Alba does run 10-kilometer torpedoes. I want to be able to flush out the Nicholas if I can. Now the Alba is firing AP shells, and that's no joke against me because those are heavy cruiser rounds, and I'm, the obligatorily exploding Nürnberg, so I have to be very careful about how much side I give him. I'm going to send some preemptive torps here in case they try to push forward, maybe stumble into them. We do lose our Furitaka at Charlie. However, he did at Bravo. He did take that cap. So right now it's a 3-on-2 situation. The Leandra and me against the Alba, the Nicholas, and the Arizona. Now, the opponents have a significant point lead. Here comes some torpedoes. This set of 4, I think, is from the... in fact, I know it's from the Alba because the Nicholas has sets of 3. And then you can see some of these torpedoes coming in from the Nicholas. And I have to be sort of thread these quite carefully. I think they expire before they get to me, or they get very close. Yeah, they do expire. So now I'm going to turn my attention to the Alba. Now, again, the Alba, he can punish me pretty readily. But it's also super critical that I get him down as quickly as possible. He's giving me a nice flat broadside. There's a Citadel, there's high caliber, and I do finish him off. And now I'm going to detect or work on the Nicholas. The Nicholas, unfortunately, he beached, and he's now backing up. And I'm now going to work on getting him out of the match, and the Leandra is helping me to finish him off as well. And then I take out his engine. He's now not going to have much maneuverability. I finish him off, and that's Kraken Unleashed. Now, the Arizona is targeting me. I avoided, again, another really big salvo from him. I am going to go undetected here in a moment. But before I go undetected, he will get another salvo off. We can see some torpedoes. And so now I've gone undetected. I'm looking to just get this cap. Here comes the salvo, and that was the hit I was dreading for the entire game when you're facing battleships as the Nuremberg. He got a sit on me, and now I've lost literally half of my maximum health in one shot. I'm going to stay quiet here until I can get the cap. But the team is going to be typing in the chat, you can't run away. That's right. We've got to sink him. This is a 2-on-1 situation. And so we lose sight on him. But it was also clear that he was moving toward the Bravo cap, or I'm sorry, Charlie. I've been keep calling the Northeast cap Bravo, and it's the Charlie cap. So my apologies for that. And so I type in the chat. I ask the Leander, who should have better concealment than me, to spot the Arizona. My initial intention was to try to fire on the Arizona from concealment because I can't tolerate another big hit from the Arizona. So I put my plane up in the hopes that I might be able to detect the Arizona with planes, but he's a little too far away. And I really need the Leander to help move up. And at this point I realize, okay, so now we see that he has moved into the Charlie cap. And so I think at this point I realized I'm wasting too much time. I need to move forward and go and just work myself to try to get him detected if at all possible. It's super critical that we get visibility on him. And this comes back to the theme of the video, which is spotting is super critical. And we are going to have better concealment than he is. So we are going to detect him before he detects us. But we also want to, in fact, we now do detect him, but we do want to be in a position that we can try to fire on him from as much range as possible so that we can try to avoid his salvos. He does send out a salvo on the Leander. I'm pretty sure at this point his teammates are, desperately typing in chat, do not engage, sail away. If you live, we win. And that's right. And so now the pressure is on the Leander and me to get the Arizona down. Now, the Arizona, I think most people know, is a very slow battleship. I think its top speed is, there I get a fire on him, which he's going to immediately extinguish, or quite immediately extinguish. But the Arizona's maximum speed, I think, is like 21 knots, something like that. So both the Leander and I have significant speed advantage over him. I have better range than the Leander, and plus, since I have HE and I have the buffed penetration, I will generally be able to get, I think, better consistent damage. And this is the critical moment where the spotting, when we really needed it, is denied. The Leander, I'm not sure what he was thinking. Maybe he was worried that he was going to take another salvo. Maybe he was worried that, or maybe he was thinking, oh, I'm a British cruiser, I'm supposed to fire from smoke. I don't know. But he uses his smoke, and that immediately denies us visibility on the Arizona. So this is why, again, spotting is critical. In desperation, I put my plane up again, hoping that maybe my plane can spot him. I'm free firing here to make myself detected, try to invite the Arizona to fire on me and make himself visible. At the moment that the Leander smoked up was about 1 minute 40 seconds remaining, and now we have less than a minute left. So we actually, by the time we detect the Arizona again, more than a minute of time will have elapsed from the time that he started to smoke to the point that we see him. So we lost a lot of crucial time where I could have been getting another fire on the Arizona and gradually eroding him down. We do detect the Arizona again, and I'm going to start firing on him. But the reality is, at this point, it is simply too late. I can, short of a detonation, we just can't get enough fire on him to take him out before the match ends. And unfortunately, this is going to end up being a loss. So very, very frustrating. And again, a good example of why it's important, why spotting is crucial. So I know I'm not going to blame the Leander player. I'm not going to chastise them. The player made the choice that they did, and hopefully it was a good learning moment for them. But as it turns out, I earned more XP in this game than the entire winning team. So again, this is a reflection of it's frustrating to have these types of losses with a Kraken and High Caliber and Confederate, but it was still a fun game nonetheless. So I hope you enjoyed the replay and the commentary. Please do leave your comments below. And as always, we hope to see you out there on the virtual seas, and we wish you happy sailing.